pandemic. I don't think I've ever worked from home 4 straight days like I've had to this week. It sucks.
You have any update on your scene, Dan?
Got a P1 plumber heading over there right now.
Okay.
You have some broken pipes?
They mobilized?
We got chaos.
That sucks, man.
Are you going to go home after this?
No, I'm not going to.
You're not.
If I hit the roadways, I might not be able to be on the air tomorrow. So
that's true. Yeah, they're treacherous.
But do you have power back at your house on the regular still? So is that all good?
I think they have power today. Yeah. So that's good, but they got a busted pipe, but I've helped out a lot from here. So she wants me to stay downtown.
She's enjoying her break.
We'll give it another minute or so. Travis is in here with us. Travis is the conductor of this whole thing. He's there. He's the one that says hang zone Zoom room.
Hey guys.
Hang room zone Zoom.
Cool.
So we gave it a minute or so, P1s are here listening to our side conversations. How it'll be working is if you guys want to say something here in a second to kind of launch it, that's great. If not, that's okay too. Travis will moderate. And as the P1s are joining the room and they hear this, what they'll do is and Travis will probably go over this again, but they'll raise their hand and ask a question or go to the chat module, and Travis will bring them on one at a time to ask the question. When they come on, you'll see them. And then we'll get rolling, and we'll go about 45 minutes or an hour, based on how the conversations and the questions go. Okay.
Cool.
And they've all been going great. Really, literally, they've all been a lot of fun. And once it gets rolling, it goes by really quick. So if you guys want to say anything, great. If not, we can just launch into the first question. All right, Travis, that sounds like it's a big go.
I'll say something.
Hey, Blake. Okay.
Like right now, do people hear us?
Yes, like right now, yes.
Yeah, we've got 120 people in
the room.
I wanted to say something to lead off, and what I wanted to say was I'm going to cede my time to our CEO, Julie Dobbs.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome everybody to the Hang Zone Zoom room. We have everybody here ready to talk to you. So let's hear your questions.
I just want to say this first too, real quick.
Oh, everybody wants to talk.
Julie has a filter on. And she hasn't shared with us how to make ourselves look all nice and stuff, but she's got a soft filter on right now.
No, I don't think the filter's on anymore. I just look good, Jake.
She's sitting on Sean Bass's bed for the last 3 days.
This is true.
So, number one, why is Kat here? And number two,
is that a question you want an answer to, or is that
that's got to be the coolest room that you own. Like, you got drums, you got cool posters. Look at that.
He's flexing on us for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he just wants to scoreboard us to show us how. And Jake's in a closet.
There's lots of boots.
Blake has no furniture.
Blake, you need to unmute, dude. This isn't a show meeting. You're allowed to talk.
All right.
We've trained him well.
Yeah.
I've said this is the last Zoom, and I've said on all the other three, if there's a lull, I will get behind there and I will do some double bass drum rolls. But so far there hasn't been a lull, so I haven't had to do it. I haven't had to plug in my guitar yet or anything. But it's more funny to watch me play drums because I'm terrible.
Boats and hose.
Yep. All right, Travis. I think save us here.
Sounds good.
By the way, Dan, I'm here to monitor and listen in, and I'm mute. Y'all don't mute.
No, you don't have to answer all my jokes, Kat. I'm just messing around, just funning.
Guys, just rolling.
Just having fun, man.
Cool. So how it'll work is I will pull up P1s so they can jump in and ask questions while I get the first one loaded up. So all the P1s in attendance, if you click on the Q&A button in the Zoom window, just type your question in there and then we'll pull you up.
And then click on the T&A button as well.
Okay.
That might work.
While
I get the first one loaded up, we did have some people pre-submit some questions. So I got one that I'm going to read off while I get the first person loaded up. And it's for Jake. How has your life changed since you became a tier 1, personally and professionally?
Well, professionally, I make millions of dollars a year now, which was not the case before. But really, though, like, to give you an honest answer, I always kind of approached producing noon to 3 like I was getting the ability to host. So even, on days where I was not necessarily on the air a ton, I approached it prep-wise basically the same. And I think that's what Bob and Dan expected. And I think they allowed me to participate in a way that got me ready, as ready as you could be for this without having ever actually done it on a day-to-day basis. But I would say, honestly, from a workload standpoint, it's really not that different for me. I mean, Blake knows this. Blake grinds a ton and spends a lot of time trying to prep for the show. So personally, it's maybe a slightly different, probably more because it coincided with COVID and my kid turning 1. Like, you have to keep in mind, what have we done? Like 8 shows as a full, all 6 of us in studio, 7 total shows. So it's hard to tease out, like, did it change because I got this different gig, or did it change because everything in the world went sideways, within 3 weeks of me getting it? But I don't know. I love all these people, and I think we're having a blast.
Cool. All right. First up, we've got Andrew. You're muted. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Hey, Andrew.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
That's a great mic. I'd like you let Jake borrow that for during the show.
Thank you. Amazon, I think it was like $5. Gosh, this is the first time I've ever seen all you guys. So I just want to say that I've been a P1 back in the old days when Kat was on with the Hardline. So love you, Kat. I've seen Dan in real life at events. So I just wanted to let y'all know that I've been listening since you and Bob started. What's weird is I'm 45 now, and I've got 2 kids. I've got a son, and he's a junior in high school. So it's like y'all have been like part of my life for my entire adult life. Okay, so I just want to ask my quick questions. Dan, what's been the best thing that you've covered since you've been at the Ticket?
The best
your
thing?
favorite event? Yeah.
Well, ticket events, I really like Ticketstock and stuff like that. Those are fun because we do feel famous there because everybody is there invited by us. So I once had a friend visit, and he just remarked this week, he thinks I'm really, really famous because he came down to visit during Ticketstock weekend, and he walked in there and everybody knew who I was. I'm like, he's like, man, you must not be able to go to the grocery store. I'm like, dude, it's not always like that. But as far as a big event that has happened, the Mavs winning it all. That was the most fun. Just the whole run. And the station sent us to Miami, and I think we drove up to Oklahoma to watch one of the playoff games, and then the parade and everything surrounding that sticks out as my most memorable sporty thing that we ever got involved with.
And then my other quick questions for Jake. So when all this went down with Bob leaving and everything, and they had to find a replacement, how long was the process for you to, did you have to like interview again, or like, did it take like several weeks, or how long did it all, come to be?
Well, I think honestly it played out pretty publicly in front of the P1s. I knew whenever everyone else knew that Mike was stepping away, and then I knew that I was getting the gig pretty close to whenever we were actually on the air doing the show. So yeah, I did do a formal interview, as did a number of other people. Did a week of shows in Miami with Corby, but then other people filled in throughout there. So really, I would say the way that you saw it was the way that we handled it, right? I mean, I knew whenever you knew on both ends of it, pretty much.
Cool. All right. Up next, we have Susan. Go ahead, Susan.
Mute.
There you go.
There she
Okay.
is.
There I am. Okay, first of all, I want to say thanks to Kat because all of you guys are my family from 5:30 in the morning till late. So, and Dan and Jake, thank you so much for sharing your trials and tribulations through COVID. And my question is for Jake. Are you going to let Mike Soroy babysit Nora like he did Julie's kid?
Well, he's 1-0. So he does have a bit of a hot streak working here. And honestly, I mean, if I take a lot of my lead and clothing for the kid from Julie. So if she says it's okay, then it's probably okay. So should the situation arise, I would have no problem with it if it's limited to 2 hours, I would say.
He's one of our top 3 ever babysitters.
And I lost mine because mine is now attending Clemson. Dan's daughter was our top ranked babysitter, and she left us.
Yeah. Mikey was great. Nora would love him.
All right, up next, we got Matt.
Good afternoon, guys and gal. And first of all, I want to say thank you. This of all the AMAs that I've attended via Zoom, this one has made me the horniest for sure. But my question goes back to when you made the decision to bring Jake on board and you rebranded the show. What was the biggest challenge, whether it's personality or style wise? And you can even include 2 or 3 guys like Blake in that conversation if you like. But just curious to hear what may have happened and how you overcame those challenges, if any, in fact, existed.
You want to go first, Dan?
I think the biggest challenge was just having to be away from Julie and Blake and Mino and Kat too, because there was a lot of, we would often just walk across the hall and talk real quick about something that's on the show or coming up or whatever. But just broadcasting from the den, which I think we've kind of adjusted to, and I don't feel day to day as bad about it as I used to. But to me, that's the biggest challenge that we have overcome, that I think things kind of run smooth now compared to the first few months. I don't know if you agree or disagree there, Jake.
Yeah, and again, not to give like a cop-out, it's just tough for me to tease out like how much of what was difficult. Was it difficult just because it was a new role and a new show? Was it difficult because we were doing the show remotely? I don't really know, but I do know that there's pretty much nobody that I could have been paired with that I wouldn't have felt more comfortable just from he has his decades of experience. We're super close personally. I would say the biggest thing for me was trying to figure out a way to not feel like I was doing a Bob imitation by being Dan's partner. It's a different show. So that is something that is just kind of an internal thing where you're thinking like, I don't want to be Bob. I don't want to just try to play the role of Bob. It needs to be a new dynamic, which is kind of a hard thing to define, but that is part of this process for sure. And it's harder when we're not all together in the same place, meeting or doing the show for sure.
Cool. Next up, we have Jimmy.
Hang zone.
So
I'm humbled. I'm humbled to be in the hang zone.
We're blessed to have you.
I was in studio with you for 2 segments on air when you did a P1 kind of trivia contest. You and me paired up with Donnie many years back. Anyway, my question is, you're a show that seems to love keeping audio, and especially you love confrontations. So why don't we ever hear Bob Sturm's Efren Herrera, some guy in the next cubicle over audio about 3 times a week in the open? It's my favorite audio. I haven't heard it in years.
Well, we could definitely get that going. Things just tend to fall off. We keep getting new bits, and it's not by any decree or order that we are never to play that again. I think it's just, I don't know, we kind of forgot about it. So we will say, write that down, Blake.
Yeah.
So, come on, bro. Put it in the open. The P1 has spoken. We're going to go to Hector now. Hector, what's up, bro?
What's up, dude? What's up? Hi, guys.
Hi, Hector.
Honored to be on with you guys. Did Blake jump off? I think. Oh no, there he is, right there. Sorry, Blake. Man, I got to tell you, or Dutch, I should say. I got to tell you, the contagious joke is now in my arsenal of jokes that I deliver. It is one of the funniest things. The reactions from people, just because it takes them a second to actually get the wheels turning and actually get the joke. The same reaction whenever you guys were on the air and you told it, man, it was awesome. So, top-notch joke. Keep them up. I really appreciate them.
You got it. Thanks. That's Dutch is purely a Gordon character that I for some reason have I don't know, kept going for some reason. But yeah, credit to George and Gordon for coming up with it.
Dude, it's awesome. My question actually it's for you, Jake, and I'm sure you've been asked this a million times. And the only reason I want to bring it up is because it was one of the more fun nights of my P1 life, I guess. And it has to do with fight night. I don't know if you recall, but I was actually the guy right up on the rope the night that you fought, right behind Mike from Duncanville's corner, I guess, trying to hype you up as much as I could. And then the coolest thing was actually getting to hang out with everybody at Twilight that very night.
Yeah.
My question is, do you plan on fighting again? Because I swear you could have sold that event on HBO or something. I would have paid top dollar to watch that had I not been able to go in person. If not you, do you think Blake, Mino, anybody would be willing to, throw the hands? Not a challenge by any means.
Don't be sexist.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah. I'm the number one fighter on the show.
Julie, that would be awesome. Not that it's a challenge by me by any means, because I would definitely just run around in circles until the bell, rung. But
right.
Just
well,
curious.
I appreciated the hyping up that night. I definitely do remember your face. Yeah, I mean, it feels kind of like it would be going back to the well one too many times. I mean, I'm undefeated, and there's only one way that I can assure that I retire undefeated, and it's to not fight again. I can't imagine Mino. Well, I was going to say I can't imagine Mino getting into any sort of physical confrontation with anybody, but we used to play flag football together, and there was one time when Blake was there, Mino was there, and I was fairly certain in that moment that Mino would have thrown hands at somebody if he needed to. But Blake, if you'd like to, go ahead. But I'm probably done. I'm quite old now. At least I feel quite old.
My answer would be no, because I don't want it to feel forced or anything. With Jake's, it was just so organic with Mike and Duncanville. I needed to fight somebody. So I'll be frozen. But
Mino is freezing.
I'd say no.
We're on the cumulus.
I could be convinced, but
we're on the cumulus internet. So let's unmute Tyler.
Go ahead, Tyler.
All right. I just have a couple of quick questions. I was just going to ask Jake, how does it feel to finally be tier 1, but be having to broadcast from a closet?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way that it is now, right? I mean, I've been doing it for a year, whether it's Mavs post or Cowboys post. So, I'm not going to complain too much about it. We're getting to do radio, so it's not that big of a deal.
Well, you guys have been producing some gold, so we appreciate it. And then my other question is for Blake. How does it feel to be producing noon to 3 and getting crap from all the team up there? And how did you come up with your Bad Radio Open before the name change to the Hang Zone?
So, with the Bad Radio Open, I really just started copying everything Jake did, from the Wake and Jake, just kind of saw, kind of how the flow went. As far as like the Hang Zone, I feel like we all kind of pitched in kind of equally to kind of come up with this new idea of how we were going to open the show, kind of taking what worked in the last regime and kind of making it our own with obviously new music and the new Rubier song, which is awesome. Getting to produce these guys is awesome. I feel like the new guy always kind of gets, a lot of crap, but that just, I don't know. If you go back to elementary school, I guess it means they like you in some way. So it's just kind of the initiation process. At least that's what I tell myself, that they still somewhat like me anyway. But no, producing these guys is so easy. they all work really hard. It's not like I have to, shovel them a bunch of stories. They kind of bring in their own stuff and have a way that they like to do things. So the job has been super cool, other than not really working in the same building as them, except for those 7 awesome shows. But, when this all clears up, I think the product is just going to get better and the job will get that much easier.
I'm excited to talk to Brad, who has a better setup than we have at the Dragon in there, Jake. Look at that.
Yeah, it's incredible.
You want a job, Brad?
I actually tried to call into the show and see if you wanted to come here because we've had power. I tried calling in a couple of times. So it's a bit, it sounds like you have a better setup there anyway, but...
Well, not Jake, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
tough for me to say. Now, as far as a den, it's a great one there, bro. I love it.
Well, thank you. I'm in Rockwall if you guys ever... But yeah, I want a job. Are you kidding me?
Well, that's why Kat's here.
No, my question, I have a million questions, but first, one of them was around the creative process on the Open. I'm super impressed by the Open. And so my question was, who creates it? It sounds like Blake, is that you?
Yeah, Jake and I have kind of split the responsibility of trying to perfect what's going on right now. But, like I said, it's a lot of what used to work with the old Open with a new kind of spin on it. So like I said, we've all kind of, had hands in creating this process so far.
It's really impressive. And I like what you guys are doing with the new direction. I think it works really well. And I love the direction that the show is taking and love the new name. I just like everything that you guys are doing. And then my other question is more specifically, I guess, for Dan. I think you've always been in the noon to 3 slot. Would you ever want to work a different time slot?
He really wants morning drive. He wants to work morning drive.
The only real reason I would is I believe monetarily that would be better, but I also believe that things are going fine now. I love noon to 3. Kind of like Central Time Zone, I believe, is the best time zone, having experienced a few different ones. Noon to 3, I've experienced doing the morning show and the afternoon show. Noon to 3 to me was the best time slot to raise kids because I got off work. I could be home. Even if we had a meeting or whatever, I'm still home before 5. Plenty of time to play with the kids, put them to bed when you could actually do that, when they were of that age. Plenty of time actually to, if you weren't a guy that slept in real late like I used to be, to get them off to school and all that. So you still have your kids. Had I, got off at 7, you get home at 7:45, then you eat, the kids are already being put to bed right then. That would not be ideal. So I believe I've had an ideal time slot on an ideal station. I've loved the last 20 years. So, and I still like it now. So even though I'm not raising kids necessarily. So I do not want to leave noon to 3. And Kat is just being a real funny guy saying we're going to put me in the morning. Amy, what's up?
Hi, Amy. Good to see you.
Hi. I don't like change, and you're my favorite show, so I'm really glad that the chemistry that y'all have has continued to be so good with the addition of Julie and Blake. I was really happy about that. But my question is, Jake, why do you give Blake such a hard time? Certainly you don't dislike him as much as it seems.
You did get my Venmo request.
Yeah, Blake put you up to this, didn't he?
Well,
you seem like such a nice guy, but you're mean to him.
Well, I will work on that. I am sorry. I think the world of Blake. I think he actually knows that, and I've felt that way for a long time. I'll just be honest with you. Like at the beginning of this process, Blake had not done a consistent show before, so I had no idea. Even though I thought a lot of him personally, I had no idea how he was going to do at this job because he's just basically never done it before. And I would say all expectations way exceeded. And I think the world of him, and I think he knows that. So I'll try to be cool, a little bit more cool when we're on the air.
Colby.
Thanks, Amy.
Unmute yourself, Colby. There you go.
All right. How's it going, everybody?
Hi, Colby.
Hey.
Love the show. Love the new chemistry. Blake, obviously, Jake, like having you in the midday window. Julie, love your zest and humor. Definitely glad you're there to keep those guys in check, because sometimes obviously Dan is getting that thing off track, but love it anyway. And Dan, I just wanted to quickly say you are a big jerk, and I just came on the Zoom call to try and help your show, and you're taking a shot. So
Yeah,
you are.
That's what he does.
He does take shots. And then Julie, my question for you is: any other talents or interests that you think you'd be into as far as a career choice outside of radio or media?
I think I've exhausted all my talents and interests, and that's why I found myself here. Just kidding. I mean,
End of the line.
I tried everything else. No, I did TV for a long time, and I loved that, and that was really fun. But this has probably been more fun because, like I always say, the big difference to me is in radio, you just can be yourself. And in TV, you're kind of playing a role, and you work really hard to get your little 1 to 2 minute clips of time on the air. And this is just a lot more laid back and fun. So we'll see how it all goes, but it's been a lot of fun so far.
hello, Raphael. What's up?
What's up, guys? Can y'all hear me?
Gotcha.
So my question's for Mino. Just wanted to get a little insight as to how long did it really take you to kind of finally get in a groove of your own and kind of make a name for yourself as far as adding your own flavor, not only to this show, but other shows. And then real quick, since Dan's here, can you give me a little bit of insight, me being a girl dad myself, what do you like most about being a sports girl dad? And I'm also a soda P1 too, so what up?
A what P1?
Soda.
Oh, soda.
He
All
looks
right.
great.
You can't tell?
Julie as well. But I didn't see any before there, Blake.
No, you don't want to.
Get off my ass. Girl sports dad. I have 2 girls, and one does not care about sports at all, and one that's really into sports, and I love her way more. She's a lot better. And if I could just trade the other one in, then I would. So, but it was really fun. I loved being a part of, coaching the team and all that kind of stuff because I'm a control freak. And I can't go watch her play in games that I'm not the coach of. So, but it's just great. Actually, the other one is fine too. So seriously, it probably doesn't really matter what your kid does, but it's kind of fun going to games and stuff. In fact, she really started getting into the Mavs when the 2011 thing ran through, the Mavs 2011 championship run. So what does Eric have for us, though?
Well, Mino.
There's a question
Mino's
for
got to
Paul.
answer.
Oh, Mino had a question? I'm sorry, Mino.
Yeah,
Was it
for
mine?
me,
That's right.
Yeah.
How did you get going?
to get in the routine with the guys, it took I'd say about a year. And the thing I struggled with the most, it wasn't so much the technical side or running the board. It was mostly just gaining the confidence of Bob and Dan and Jake, and then the hard line in the afternoon, because I was really new at the time. I felt like I knew what I was doing, but I mean, I only worked with Bob and Dan maybe 15, 20 times, filling in for Jake, and then the hard line about the same amount. So I wanted to prove to them that I was the right guy for the job. It was kind of Blake's deal when they hired him. It was, is this the right guy for the job? So I kind of just had to keeping the station on the air, knowing their bits, working hard, doing that kind of thing, to where they would trust that I knew what I was doing, and then they would embrace me. So it took a while, and I didn't also want to be the guy that's just trying to kick the door in and just play a ton of drops and take over on the air the whole time. I kind of had to let the game come to me a little bit.
Kidding.
And then after that, now I'm just kicking ass. So,
I think it really is.
Took a while.
I agree with you. I thought you were the first guy that they ever hired and didn't really sit and talk with us about it.
Yeah, because before me it was
obviously a great hire, but yeah, it was Jake
and then Grooves, all these guys that have been around.
We had worked with extensively, though. We knew Jake real well. I knew his brain, so I knew he'll figure this out. Grooves, we really worked with him a lot. I didn't even know you. And all of a sudden, you're running the show, which I consider to be an extremely important thing. The guy who runs the sound on a radio station. But I didn't even know you at all. And I was very concerned early on that, but in retrospect, you were letting the game come to you. You weren't trying to overdo it. And you figured out your own thing. And I am definitely willing to tell anybody right now that you have exceeded the Grooves level. We thought Grooves was a Hall of Famer that could never be matched. And I do not think Grooves would be at your level now. He'd have to work to get there. Mino is awesome.
Yeah, seems like someone up there knows how to make a few hires. I don't know.
No, that's give Kat's credit. We do not like to give Kat any credit, but I do love Blake. I love Mino. Julie has been wonderful. And probably if you said, who's your first choice at each of those positions, not one of those people would have been. Only that I didn't know you at all, Julie.
Yeah,
so I'm not trying to put you down or anything, but also right now, I can't imagine anybody better being in any of these spots.
You kind of knew her.
But I didn't know how she'd be on radio.
He lost that out of his mind.
No, but people on TV generally, I don't think, make good radio.
Yeah.
And they generally don't. TV guys that come in to fill in general, we have a few good ones, but they just don't often translate. You have a different brain when you're doing TV. You're too...
robotic or something.
Yeah, buttoned up.
Yeah.
It's too worried. But Julie is, well, you know.
Let it all hang out.
Yeah. She was being held back by TV. Now we go to Eric. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you. First off, big fan, listen all the time. Also, you guys are doing a public service because a couple weeks ago, my 14-month-old daughter had a seizure at night and would have freaked me out had I not remembered Julie mentioned. Didn't you mention that happened to your child one time? Yeah. So just knowing about that, you're everything racing through your mind. You're not knowing what the heck's going on. But I remember you talking about it and that it was kind of a thing. So that kind of squared me to kind of go looking. We had ambulance there and everything. And I'm Googling, trying to figure out what's going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, I feel like that's a lot of what we kind of hope to do on the station and why we tell those stories. It might be kind of weird to tell that story on the air, but with that one in particular, I know it's something that was so scary that I had no idea about, and turns out it's fairly common, these febrile seizures, and you hear about a lot of different things that can happen to kids, and I had no idea about that. So that's why I told that story, and I'm so glad that your daughter's okay.
Yeah.
And if it makes you feel good about things, Anna hasn't had another one, and it's been over a year. So hopefully it's just a one-time thing. She's good as new after that.
That's awesome. Yeah, mine's great, or mine's fine too. But yeah, I think that's kind of why I like you guys giving those slice of life stories, because they end up, having an effect and meaning something.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad that helped you. I'm glad everything's okay.
Definitely did. And then my question that I posted was, I need a Top Shot recommendation.
Oh, I don't know. I think that might be illegal because it's technically financial advice, which I am in no position to offer, and I don't have a fiduciary responsibility. But I think the advice is just buy a couple cards and have fun with it. I mean, it's silly, and I'm positive that I'm going to regret this in a few years, and I'm going to want all this money back. But it's fun, so just buy a couple cards and try to get yourself a pack, and then gift me one of them if you win a full pack.
I think he was asking Dan, because Dan is the new Top Shot guy.
Oh, Dan gets to swerve into the Top Shot lane fully now because he
You've
lives
been
with Cash
trying.
Soroy. Yeah.
And Blake is the South Park guy.
Okay, Mino. we're not on the air.
No. It's your time.
Hey. What's up, guys? First time, long time. I had a couple quick questions. One, Jake, are your hands and feet still sweating ridiculously post-COVID, or has that gone away?
It's not gone away.
Oh,
and
no.
it's super, super annoying. My feet right now are drenched. If I took my socks off in the closet, I could like literally wring them out. It's really, really, really frustrating.
Okay, well, don't spill that on the blouses.
I will try not to.
I'm a big IJBP one, and I saw the video of Dan putting on the Sam Anderson sunglasses, and need to know why you don't have a pair of those on right now, Dan, because that may have been the best look of anyone. It was great. What are you going to get a pair of those, or what's the deal?
I probably should. It is the year of Dan, and we're trying to accessorize now. We've lost a few pounds, and we now got to dress this thing up. So yeah,
beard's looking great. Got the winter cap. Yeah, I think it is. It's definitely the year of Dan, throwing down many different looks, serving up looks even.
Yeah. Totes.
Go to Jonathan. What's up?
Hey, Julie.
Hey, Jonathan.
My wife is good friends with Jesse Worrell.
No way.
Yep, down here in Austin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just to give you some context.
He's my best friend.
I know. I've seen that.
Has your wife ever been to Julie's ranch?
Never. We haven't gotten the invite. I guess we're not that good of friends with her friends.
No.
More elusive than Blake's apartment.
That's right. Second comment. Though Blake probably hates it, I like the way Birmingham set up that open. I think we should try that maybe once or twice just to see how people like it. Did y'all like it or no?
Did you like it?
That's what I thought.
You like it?
You like it?
You like it?
Yeah, I personally think we should try the open in a few different ways.
Yeah.
We're only in week 1? No, 2?
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true.
You open, so I'm totally willing to say everything means everything, and maybe we'll go back to the way it was before. Maybe we'll just move on, and I'm all for just trying some different things. In the end, what is it? Didn't we decide, guys? It's a collection of fun clips. We still want to keep doing that, but it's a new coat of paint, a new carpeting is in this house. So it's pretty much the same house. It's pretty much the same bit. We're just trying to add a few new things. So if the open is going to make you change your mind about things, then I don't know. Settle down. You'll get used to it. Lie back and enjoy it, as a great man once said.
I guess in the spirit of this whole thing is pulling back the curtain. That's why we're doing it, and that's I think what listeners like to hear about. And to me, I'll just interject here that the encouragement and is to try something new and to do new things and to constantly evolve, I think, is one of the huge hallmarks of the radio station over the last 25 or 26 years. And it's really, I think, unfair to these guys that you have something that's been so enjoyable for 20 years and you compare that evolution to like week 1 or week 2 of the Hang Zone. It is a work in progress. Sorry, Mino. You got to give some time to it all. But the cool thing is that I think all of us, myself included from our higher ups, have the ability and we're encouraged to try new things and to be creative and to work on stuff. And it doesn't have to be a finished product today. We're working towards something better. I think that's the cool thing to me about the Hang Zone right now is that everything does mean everything. And you can try a bunch of new stuff. And we don't have to compare everything that you're doing right now to the way Bob and Dan did it in year 3 or year 15 or whatever. So I think that's all good. And I like that. And that's what I'm excited about as a listener to this show.
And I'll just say this, I've only worked at one radio station, and I'm not trying to be a kiss ass, but I've got friends and different radio stations across the country. Not everybody gets the license to do that. And not everybody gets the license to try to grow and evolve and actually, be almost encouraged to let's try some things here that might not work and maybe take a risk or two. So again, I hate to make a second compliment of Kat in one phone call, but I do appreciate very much the fact that we're not only allowed, but encouraged to try stuff like that because it makes us feel more confident whenever we do it.
And I did not think that would be that easy of a sell. When we were first talking about trying to change the name and do this, I thought, because when we made the first initial switch, Bob goes to the hardline, Jake on Bad Radio, or noon to 3. Jake has been here for a decade. So the thought was, well, we'll kind of keep the same show going noon to 3, and the disruption will be from 3 to 7. So whereas, like in our minds, at least in my mind, I thought the hardline's going to change their name because it's totally different. Mike's gone, and we're going to stay Bad Radio. And it kind of turned out opposite. So I guess, you know, we let that happen organically as to what felt right for each set of individuals doing the show. But when we were talking about changing the name, I kind of thought we'd get resistance. Like, hey, man, you got this. That's been a brand that's, you know, we can sell. We can say Bad Radio. It's 20 years, blah, blah, blah. And you're still Bad Radio. You know, it's not like Mike and Greg are both gone from the hardline. So, you know, I started Bad Radio. So shouldn't we keep it like that? Jake's been on Bad Radio for 10 years. You know, Mino and Julie are part of Bad Radio. So, yes, certainly let's stop crediting Kat and just say even his higher ups. They could have stopped it too. They could have said, no, we got a brand here. We got to stick with that brand, sales. And they're allowing us to do this. So we're really hoping it pays off and it works because, you know, they're letting us take a chance. There's Kat's full drum kit too. It's called a drum kit, right? I'm kind of music guy. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's called a drum kit.
A drum thing.
Drum playing.
You know what they call the stool behind the drum kit, Dan?
The stool?
No, they call it a throne. Call it a throne, bro.
Throne? Okay. Yeah. I got one of those right by my shower. Next to it. Chris.
Hello. So I guess I'm looking for a little advice that I think overlaps with you guys and your world a bit. And it's when, this is something I'm dealing with right now, is when one of your passions, in this case, sports or broadcasting, depending on who you are, is also your job, especially something that a lot of people interact with as like a leisure time activity. How do you draw the line between what you consume for fun, that's like just yours sort of, and then what is, you know, oh, this is work, this is for work, I need to formulate thoughts about what I'm watching or participating in right now? Because I've been in entertainment media for a long time, and so now anytime I watch a movie or, you know, listen to an album, I'm like, oh, what would I write about this? And it's kind of become exhausting, and I wonder how you guys sort of deal, if you run into that, or how you combat that. Did that make any sense?
Yeah. I personally don't think it's exhausting because I really like doing this. And I'm trying to think, I don't think there's much stuff I do that I don't possibly use for work. So even if I'm watching a documentary, maybe I'll have watched 2 parts of something and go, oh man, I should have been taking notes to know where some audio was, because now this is good enough to talk about on the show. So I can kind of see what he's saying, but also I guess if you have a job you're really into, then it doesn't seem like work. That's cliche, right, to say something like that? But I do think it's true.
But I mean, I do almost nothing that I don't in some way think I could use this on the show. Like, you know, people will jokingly be like, stop talking about The Bachelorette, but we've gotten some funny audio out of that 4 or 5 times. So, I mean, I don't know about you, Dan, but it's pretty much just take notes on every single quarter hour of your life, whether it's in your phone or handwritten, and then look at a big pile of it and see, is there something in here I can use?
I guess I watch some shows with my wife that we just don't ever talk about, but we might mention it sometime, you know, so then it does end up being for work. The only thing I really do, I guess, is probably read a book. I'm sure I've never talked about, is it Dennis Lehane, Kat, that did Shutter Island? You know, yeah. Sometimes I'll pick a book and say, okay, I'm going to read this Belichick book. I know I'm going to use some of that. I'm going to read this Sprawl Ball. But sometimes I will, my next book, it might be, you know, it's about the racist history of the United States. And I probably won't talk about that a lot on the show. That's like a book for me. So it's pretty boring.
But that's just the blessing of our job, is that outside of our work, we're always thinking about the show, but we're still doing things that we like. Like we would still be watching sporting events and watching these movies. But the great thing is that the next day we get to talk about it with our friends on the radio. So you just lucked into a job that you really enjoy. And I call that a blessing.
Maybe the movies that are classified for adults only, those are the ones with the...
Okay.
You still bring those to the job.
Oh,
She's right. She's right.
You have a porn drop.
That's you. Porn. Oh, no, that isn't just you. That's right. That's Conrad.
Yeah.
Brian, change the subject.
Bail him out.
Julie's always talking about porn.
Long time P1. I've been with Bad Radio since you and Bob started it, and I love the open. I love the hang zone. I love the song. I love everything about it. What was the process like creating it and deciding on the name and whatnot?
Porn. He's got drops. The story with the name obviously was former ticket part-timer Austin Guttery, who also worked for Mike and Cash Soroy's business. Was it Valley View, Dan?
Valley View Mall.
Valley View Mall. He rented out like a tiny little, I think it might have used to been a shoe store. Whenever it was just the dregs of the mall left, there was nothing there, and put up a little beat up couch and a little TV and a little Nintendo. And we just thought it was the coolest idea. Like, here's where you just come to hang out. And for whatever reason, it just kind of stuck with us that we thought, this name, it's not really going away. I actually kind of like it a year later, which is, I think, a pretty good amount of time to let something marinate and then think back on it and say, okay, well, if I still don't hate it a year from now, that means it's a good name. As far as the song goes, where do you even want to begin, Dan? I mean, that's Mark Rubier, who we had on, right,
to create a song for us live on the air. He did that. And I wonder if we would have been so enamored with the name if the song wasn't so cool.
Yeah, just hearing him sing it just seems so, it really sticks with you.
And we thought...
We knew that was magic when we heard it. I don't know about you guys. When he was sitting there making it, I don't know. I was just shaking my head knowing that, we had struck gold with that.
Yeah.
I listened to it over and over and over again. And then the thought of Superbad or the Hang Zone, because Superbad was a real strong contender, I think. But it was kind of, that could be a bridge and we're kind of the same. But if that wasn't a movie, maybe I would consider that more. But then you're too tied in with the movie and I don't know. We're just changing things up. It's not Bad Radio anymore. It does not sound like Bad Radio, I don't think. So we wanted to take that name out of it. And Jake kind of explained the other stuff about what we love about the Hang Zone name. So now we'll go to Chad. I'd like to try and get as many of these as we can, I guess, right? Cat, is that our whole point, right? You don't want to just...
Keep rolling for a little while. We got some time here, yeah.
We're only doing an hour? Okay.
More or less. That's what we've been doing.
Chad.
Hey, guys. Man, I really missed Ticketstock this year, but glad y'all are doing this. I've really enjoyed the show this past year. You guys have done an awesome job with all things considered. I'm like somebody else earlier who gets really nervous with change about things I like and love the ticket so much. And so I was really nervous about all this, but you guys have done an amazing job. So with that said, I was just curious, Dan, like when did you find out that Bob wasn't going to be there on the show anymore? And were you like really freaked out about that because of all the experience, as a team, or were you just excited about a new challenge?
Hey, Dan, I'll just think about your answer for a second, because I want to say this to Chad and I want to say it to everybody else that's listening on the room. I may have said it at Ticketstock last year. Dan McDowell and Jake both, but this question was about Dan, have been beautiful during this whole process. But I'm singling out Dan because, yes, Dan, more than anybody, Jake is getting a promotion. Jake is getting an opportunity. Jake is taking the next step in his career. But Dan, more than anybody, had a good thing going. And here I come with this crazy idea to really break up that show. And for those of you that don't know, Radio 101, one of the first things you learn about programming is you don't screw up one day part to fix another one. And that's exactly what I did here. But throughout this whole process, from the first time I talked to Dan and Bob about it separately and together, and specifically Dan, and I'm not saying things that I haven't already told him, his attitude has been awesome throughout this whole thing. He's been gung-ho about everything. He's embraced all this. And so not only does it make everybody around him better, like Jake and Blake and Mino and Julie, it makes me have confidence in the decision that I'm making, because we all have a lot invested into this radio station. And we all have a lot invested into the success individually that we can't have unless it all works for us together, collectively. And so your attitude throughout this whole thing to me has been awesome. And it gives me confidence in what we did. It gives me confidence in the show. It gives me confidence in Afternoon Drive. But more so than even Bob, who also is moving to a different day part that some would say is more prestigious. Dan had the most to lose. And his attitude was awesome throughout this whole thing. So let me pay you back for some of the things you said about me, Dan.
Okay, thanks. But I do, yeah. At first, it was shocking, because like Kat said, you just don't mess with something that you think is going well. I will say this to kiss Jake's ass. If it wasn't Jake, I don't know how I would have felt. I don't even know what other host you would name. I do like a lot of people here on the ticket, but I've been a big fan of Jake for a long time. And, so Jake and I had done a lot of shows together. Bob goes on vacation. Jake would fill in. When I go on vacation, Jake would fill in. So I knew that already. And I knew how hard he worked. And that was the biggest thing to me. And I thought, this guy's going to be giving a ton of effort. And that's all you can ever ask. And I got pretty excited pretty quick about it. So that's the truth. If Jake was not, if it was another guy, so it's hard to hypothetically say who that guy would be, but I can't think of anybody. I would not want to trade anybody on the ticket for working with Jake right now. I feel very, very positive about the future of the Hang Zone.
By the way, yesterday on the Hardline Zoom, someone asked a similar question, and Bob basically gave the same answer you did, which, man, if it wasn't Jake taking over that slot, I wouldn't feel nearly as good about this whole thing. So I think that's a big compliment to Jake also.
Thank you, guys. You're too kind.
Paul Pietraszewski.
Hey.
You did it again, Dan. Every
time
right.
emailer, first-time caller.
Hey, guys. First of all, Kat, Julie, the adding of Julie was the greatest thing the ticket's done in a long time, man. She's so refreshing, and even the e-brakes, everything about it is perfect. You're awesome, Julie.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, and I agree. And I always say this too, like for Blake, and there's newer people on here, but you know what? I don't give these jobs to people. The folks that are here, they earn them. I mean, Julie was working part-time. Mino was moved up. Blake has been working behind the scenes for years. And even Jake, I mean, he knows this too. When these jobs open up, I try to keep an open mind for everybody. And I want to go through this process the right way, because I think they all earn and deserve that respect from me. I try to keep an open mind from the first person I talk to the last person. And then I just kind of assess all those things together, but they're not giving things. They've earned it. They all deserve the spots that they got because they earned it, everybody. And so I appreciate the credit, but I feel like that stuff kind of just plays out on its own.
Yeah, and mine will be working for the Stars next year anyway, so just like Bruce. My second comment, and I was trying to figure out how I can justify this or prove it, but I think if you talk to the skydiving chief, he will tell you that I predicted both moves. I predicted Bob over, and I predicted Jake up. So that's a humble brag on my part. But
that's pretty good. You know what else is humble bragging is you're scoreboarding everybody with a fan on. Everybody's freezing.
I'm doing it, Dan. The reason why I have the fan on is because I have a thermometer down by my feet right now, and right now it reads 52 degrees at my feet. So I'm trying to get the air to circulate.
Okay, all right.
Got some science.
You see, it's going that. Yeah, it's called fanology. My wife calls it fanology. Okay. She's got a doctorate in fanology. My question to you guys, Dan and Jake, the personality of the show. Is it organic? You guys don't seem to take anything too seriously, but then you do touch on the political stuff, but it seems like it just stays right smack dab in the middle, and you guys have really become my favorite show on the ticket. Jake, you and I have had our Twitter fights about NBA because I'm not a huge NBA fan, but you guys have quickly become my favorite show on the ticket because of the way that you guys handle yourselves on a day. You don't take it too seriously, just like the ticket was in the old days when I started listening to it when I moved down here from Minnesota 17 years ago. So is that just organic, or how do you guys kind of plan that out? Hey, let's not go too far into this. How does that work?
Is Dan frozen, or is Dan still good? Okay. You were just kind of catatonic there for a second.
Yeah, he put me to sleep, this Paul.
No, that was a good call. I would say it's organic, right, Dan? I don't think it's too intentional, but I also think that, for me, I love my family and everything, but noon to 3 is my favorite part of the day. Like, I have a lot of fun doing this, and I want people to have fun listening. So obviously there's going to be situations like what happened last summer, or like Dan and I both getting sick, where we do have to talk about, serious things in a weighty way. But for the most part, man, I just want people to listen and have fun. And because I'm having a ton of fun with it, and I feel like that kind of probably flows from Dan as the somewhat elder statesman. I maybe take my lead from him because he's been doing this a long time and doing it very successfully. So I just want our show to be fun. That's kind of the way I think of it every day. And I think it is.
Yeah, I would just agree. And I think it's been kind of organic. We don't sit and really talk about, oh, hey, you might want to not do this, or do what you feel, do what we feel. And we kind of feel like we're just both two jackasses. So
yeah, exactly.
We're the dumb zone. It's the dumb zone. How about next up? We got a couple guys in queue. John. Hey,
can you guys hear me?
Hey, John.
Hey, a big fan. First time, long time. My question is for Blake. I was curious what. So obviously, as fans, we know what Dan and Jake's day kind of looks like. I'm kind of curious what Blake's day looks like as a producer. I've always been kind of confused on what that role really means in the radio world.
You're asking why I don't update the website right after the show. Is that right?
No. I was just kind of curious. I don't know. In all honesty, I find you the most relatable, just being like a millennial myself. Unlike Dan, I really appreciated your Pokemon joke.
Thank you.
And yeah, because and Jake's more of a older, grumpy millennial, so can't really relate to him as much.
He is. Thank you for knowing.
Now, we had set that Pokemon joke up before the show.
That was in the.
We all knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm trying to relate to my demo, and we're trying to relate to the younger demo as well. That's just part of our brilliance.
No, this is just backtrack. They were very against it. To answer your question about my day, I hate to answer it like this, but it kind of depends on the day, And during football season, we had all that Doug Peterson audio, which would drop in the morning. So you kind of have to schedule your day around what's going on. But like last night, I sent these guys an email at 3 a.m. just because, I don't know, I was just up kind of in the mood to work hard and had the energy to do so. So I don't know.
Blake. Come on, Blake. You weren't up at 3 a.m. sending emails.
He scheduled it to be released at 3.
Yes. Come on.
No, you can
real hard.
Look at the timestamp of the email. No,
I know that's what I'm saying. You can just schedule that stuff so you look like you're up late.
I didn't schedule it. No, I think that's
not
like a lot of people my
Cat
age.
calls and leaves Bennett messages at 5 just to show him that he's up.
I don't know if you can schedule an email, but I don't know. As another millennial, I think you can kind of agree that we kind of just make our own schedules, whether that be work late into the night or up early or whatever. But it just kind of depends on the day. But yeah.
Andrew,
Hey, love the show, guys.
Thanks, Ben.
Live up in Oklahoma City, listen every day. Took a new position at my work about 3 years ago where I shifted all of my meetings from 1 to 3 to basically 9 to 11:30.
So I don't think they've caught on that it's to listen to a radio show yet. But my question was, how many times do you guys talk in a pre-show meeting or maybe during a commercial and you go, this was so funny and interesting, non-sports breaking related, that you go, we need to talk about this today? I hear you guys a lot say, let's add this to the show next week, or let's get this in later in the week, or maybe we ran fast on this segment, so we'll talk about it next segment. But how many times do y'all talk about something and maybe 20 minutes before the show starts that you go, we absolutely got to talk about this today?
I'll go, I guess, Dan. I think that happens quite a bit. But again, Blake is also pretty solid about notating stuff so that we can roll over. And then ultimately, a lot of times stuff gets rolled over and it doesn't get done. And if you've brought something up in a meeting 5 times and it hasn't gotten done, then usually it falls off the list a little bit. I would say as much as people complain about Twitter and about, constant instant feedback for entertainment jobs and the challenges that presents, I also think Twitter is great about basically being a thousands upon thousands of people watchdog. And there's been countless times where somebody will tweet us something and say, hey, you may want to go back and listen to fill in the blank from a segment prior in the show. So I think Twitter is an incredible resource for helping us do this show. Like, net positive for sure.
But as far as like meeting, we meet every day and kind of lay on the table what we have. And I try to, take notes on everything that they say and not let anything fall off the table. But yeah, it's constant communication for sure. Chris Klein.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hi, Chris.
Hey, I just love so much that it feels like everybody has a voice, and I love hearing all the different people. I love it when there's a salesperson on in the cubicle or whatever. And I just want to know, is there a process to allocate airtime? Is that very deliberate, where you sort of decide, okay, this person needs to talk more, this person needs to talk less, or is it just up to the show host and it just happens organically?
I would say more organically, kind of going with that. That's what we hope it would be. If you got something and it's good, then we'll keep rolling with it. And if not, me and Jake are big blowhards, so we'll just start talking. We'll just talk over you. That's in my humble opinion. Very, very humble.
All right, guys, hate to do it, but we are out of time.
Oh, bummer.
Travis.
I know, it's all my fault.
Why does Travis suck?
Jeez.
Emails. What?
Blame Blake.
He did a great job moderating.
I'm just saying what all the P1s are thinking right now who are waiting in line.
That's what all the Q&A questions are now?
We'd like to end really with a big musical interlude as here
he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Going to the throne.
Y'all ready?
Let's do this.
Now,
I got.
Hey,
good devil music right there.
Travis, have all the Zoom rooms ended the same way, or has Kat saved that just for us?
No, that was just for you guys. That was special.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
That is great.
That is the extent of my abilities. Very limited.
Well,
thank you so much for everyone for joining in on this. This is awesome, and I love you all.
Should we let Julie close everything out?
Yes.
Sure. I guess just for the day, we're done hanging in the hang zone, but we will be back with you to hang tomorrow at noon. We'll see you then. Thanks for joining us in the Zoom room.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks, y'all. See ya.